Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Karen Jones, and I'm here in High Achieving Women, Thriving with Clarity, Heart, and Soul. And I am doing an interview today with Leontien Homulle, and we're going to be speaking today about topics that I think are dear to all of our hearts. Thriving. How do we thrive in this world today? What is
Oh,
our purpose? We have a visitor. I love it.
Zoom cat.
Oh,
It's
it's
always
great.
a look when I'm on Zoom.
Exactly. And how do we bring our purpose, our heart, and our soul into our careers, our work, and our lives? So let me introduce Leontien Homulle. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I am super honored to be here because I know it's your first interview, and yeah, I feel really honored that it's with me. I'm Leontien. I'm Dutch. I live in Italy since more than 30 years, so I can say I'm half Italian as well. And I'm an empty nest mom of three grown-up children who live, two live in Holland, one live in Switzerland. And if I have to describe myself, I can say I'm really a people person. With everything I've done in my life, I started out as a nurse, and then I became an airline hostess. I did a lot of training in family constellations, have been a facilitator for a couple of years. I'm a confidence coach. And now I'm creating the Happy Nest, which is a membership for empty nest moms to go from not knowing what to do with this new stage in life to creating a thriving, new, amazing chapter for themselves, going through success path with all the help and skills to achieve what they want to achieve.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
That is so good. So how did you, because it sounds like from what you were saying when we talked before, that this is really a passion for you. How did you find your passion? Because I think that's a question a lot of us have. So tell us kind of how you found this.
Well, I can assure you it was not overnight. And it's a kind of a long story. And it all started out that I wanted to be in charge of my financial life, because at a certain point in life, I realized I hardly know anything about finances, about how we are protected. And I was always living in fear, because my husband is a dentist, and we were all depending on his two hands. And if something happens to him, I couldn't even put my kids through uni. So that was always a big issue for me. And I just didn't know where to start. And well, one day we find out that we had a fraudulent pension plan, and that spiraled us in action. And we started out with Rich Dad Poor Dad coaching, and that was our very first introduction to this whole self-development world and everything, apart from the family constellations. And that made me think, okay, I want to help other people who are in the same boat and maybe don't know what to do and where to start. So I tried to set up a website and helping women to get in charge of their financial life by investing in property, created an amazing course, even if I say it myself. And the other part of getting in charge was doing network marketing. My idea behind this was from, okay, not everybody is has money to invest in property. And that marketing, you can start out. I finished the website and the course. I was in deep trouble myself with the property. So I thought, well, that is not aligned with my values to tell other people, oh, go in property, and being really in trouble. So that put me off track. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead with the network marketing, created a website especially for the network marketing. And the idea behind that was to set up the business together, to create a year-long coaching for the people who signed up with me, and that together we would create a whole setup of the network marketing. And the idea behind that was from, okay, if they're thriving, the success will be, I will feel it as well. So all my time, it's more my time invested instead of that I go out and find clients there. But something was holding me back, and I can't say what it was. I had a nice website, I liked it, and then I had to start going. But I wasn't successful myself in network marketing. So who was I to tell other people, oh, we have to do it that way? This was at the end of December 2019, and then we in Italy, we were one of the first to go in we went in a real lockdown. We weren't even allowed to go out with the dogs. And it was at the same moment, there was this course promotion on social from Anthony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I had done the whole master university with Anthony Robbins, and I said, well, looks great. I ain't gonna do a course. Long story short, when we went in lockdown, I said, I never, ever get so much time to do a course. I'll sign up. I did. And one of the modules of the course was about memberships. And that hit home. And I said, that's what I want to do, because I don't want to create a course. I want to help people thrive and go from where they are now to what they want to do, and help them find out what they would like to do. It could be for someone set up a business, for another one create a book club or create a cooking club or whatever. But there's a whole path in between from how do I find out where's my passion, what would I like to do, get the right mindset, create an action plan, implement it. And very often with a course, you dive in and you're super enthusiastic, and then you miss the accountability, the people around you were not doing it. And in a membership, you have the community. And the idea of creating a thriving community where we support each other, where we all have a similar journey, and where you can get coaching and where you can ask your questions, that was it for me. And from there I am on to develop this membership, the Happiness, and I'm about to launch next month, next month in March. So I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to get started, because I think that it can be helpful for many empty nest moms.
That sounds really just fabulous. And there's a couple points in your story that I just want to bring out for people. And that is, we don't always know from the get-go what we want to create. Or we try something and we think it's right, we hope it's right, we feel like it's right, but then it doesn't turn out. And so it really shows us that our developing ourselves into our purpose, living our purpose, is not a straight line. It's going to have seemingly dead ends, but even the dead ends, we learn something from it. And that is so important. Are we learning from what's going on? Are we taking in more information so we can go even further? Yeah, and I think that's so important. So what was your experience as an empty nest mom that really kind of turned you on to this group of people? Did you have an experience there?
Well, when my eldest son went on gap year, and he went to Australia, and it was before there were cell phones, and there was just the beginning, the very beginning of Facebook. So the only way I could kind of follow him was through photos on Facebook, and hoping that he would call me. And that moment, it was from, oh, this comes never ever back, the time that we will be home with the 5 of us. And it really felt like a deep loss. And then that was one thing, and I found my way around it. And the other thing was that there were so many negative women around me who were just like if their life was ended, or it also felt that you were so alone, because in my case, my girlfriends are younger, so their kids were younger. Mm-hmm. And it was really fun. The experience was fun. Okay, it is an end, but in life, it's life, because we left the nest and we left our parents behind. And we were so happy to go. So let them go. And also, it is also what we have been working towards, to create independent, happy adults. It will go their own way. So it's kind of strange to be so sad, and you should be proud. And I wanted to help people to see from it's not only the end of something, it's also a beginning for you. And I realized that many women just don't know anymore what they want. They're so used to put themselves last on the queue. And it seems to me, it seems that like when you become a mom, that also a special sense of guilt is born together. And also the fact that you as a person have to put yourself last. I don't know where that comes from, but it's kind of common in moms. So I wanted to create a positive, thriving environment where women can rediscover their passions and their dreams and give them the skills and the tools to do that, and not leave it just there, but then go on. And like saying from, okay, probably you won't know the first thing you do, won't probably the last one, but if you're all by yourself and you're in your own opinion you're failing and you start beating yourself up, then it's hard to keep going. And if you're in a community and you see you're not the only one, that it's normal, that it's part of the journey, and that you learn to enjoy the journey and every step on the journey, if it's the step in the right way or in the wrong way. And also if you realize from, it's not where I'm going, it's along the way which I have to find my thriving feelings and my excitement. And I think in a community, it's really helpful because you're not alone. And especially this last year, I think many people have felt so alone because we were so closed up in our homes and not able to socialize. And life is a little bit replaced to social tool, to the online space. And that makes it maybe easier to accept from, okay, it can work community online. And I must say personally, well, I met you, which is super nice. And I created some real new friends, and they're real friends. I can say that even if I've never met them, because the nice thing about the online space is it takes away a lot of filters. You just go straight to the point. And I don't know, I hardly know anything about you, but it doesn't matter because we still connect on a different level. So yeah, I think I got around your question, what my emptiness experience was. I got a little bit sidetracked, but it was good. And Zoomcat is coming in again. And I'm going to call him Zoomy. And yeah, it really gave me a lot of opportunities and a lot of space to create these, to go after those opportunities. And yeah, and to get to learn to know myself better as well.
Yeah, and there's so much I want to reflect on in what you just said. You know, one of the important ones is often we as women are putting ourselves last. I mean, that's part of our culture. Now, it doesn't mean it's not a good aspect of culture. Some of it is purely practical. You know, we're working on our careers and raising our kids, and often we have a partner and holding a home all at the same time. So it makes sense from a logical point of view that there's a lot of times where we're going to be putting ourselves last, and yet it's not optimal, and it's really something over time we need to change, to put ourselves first. Because I firmly believe if I put myself first to self-love and self-care and caring for my own desires, then I'm going to be able to be more present to my kids, to my partner, to my life, to my friends, to my work, to my career, all of that. So I wanted to comment on that. And the other one that I think is really important to acknowledge is the guilt that we women often feel, you know, and even though I didn't have, well, anyway, so there's a lot of guilt we feel if we're not always perfectly there for our kids, for our partner, for our work and our coworkers or our friends. So again, something to really work on. And how important it is to see that we're not alone in our feelings and our experiences, because it is so demoralizing. I had that experience with my work when I became unhappy at work, unfulfilled in a fulfilling work kind of thing. I felt very demoralized because I thought I was the only one and there was something wrong with me. And so to be in a community and realize, to have these feelings of who am I? I don't know now that my kids aren't here. What do I really want? I don't know because I don't know how to connect with myself. This is also so important. So yes, thank you for allowing us to really bring those perspectives up.
Yeah, because like you say, it's so common, and many women don't know, and they're just sitting there all by themselves, feeling sad, depressed, different from the world, different from the rest, don't understand themselves anymore, and think there's something wrong with them. But it is just a normal process. And it's also, if you're part of a community, you can also lift up by people who are some steps ahead of you. And you can see it's possible to get out of there, and it's possible to change. And I think that's already the power of the Facebook groups, where you're kind of surrounded by people who are in the same boat as you are. And it isn't an overnight process to learn how to say yes to yourself and how to get rid of the guilt, because it will be probably for a long time a part of you. But if you slowly learn to say yes to yourself and say a little bit more no to others, then you get a feeling how it can feel. And I must say, when I started out to take out more time for myself, especially when the kids were in uni, I really, when they came home, I dropped everything, and I just couldn't get myself to do something for myself or for my things which were important for me. And that took quite a long time to learn that. And this last year, I learned it because they were home. When they came home, first we didn't see each other for a long time, and when they finally came home, they stayed home because they started to work from our home and not anymore for this little mini apartment where they were suffocating. So I really had to, if I wanted to make this work, I had to learn it. For me personally, it was quite a long process, because still, family for me is the most important part, but it can be in many different ways. And I completely relate with you. If you do self-care, if you take care of your own desires, you become a better person for the others. And let's also not forget the example we set for our children.
Right.
I don't think we're a great example if we're just depressed, clinging onto them, waiting that they come home and being desperate when they leave. It's still okay that you're not super happy if they're leaving. I love to go to the airport to get them. I hate to go to the airport to bring them back. And I'm always saying, well, how can one place have all this joy and all this sadness at the same time? And that's kind of life. It depends from which side you look at it. And when they come back home, then it's the joyful side. When I leave them behind, it's the sad side. But I don't know what I wanted to say and why I came here, but I think give yourself some credit and start with saying what you've done very well, because the fact that you are an empty nest mom in most cases will say that they are standing on their own feet and that they are getting into their own lives. And it was about being an example that it's possible to create from every new stage in life, to create something wonderful and share it with others. So yeah, that's what I would like to show to my children as well. You're never too old either, because it's the fact of becoming an empty nest moms very often happens at the same time that you're in your midlife, that you're entering your menopause, that you know everything about.
Yes.
Maybe your visits are changing. Maybe you don't see yourself anymore, and it's a, it could be that you're projecting everything on the emptiness, but it is a lot more. It's also, you enter your 50s or 60s, so you're don't have the other half anymore in front of you. It's getting shorter. So there are a lot of things going on, and surrounding yourself with other people who have this positive idea of saying from, okay, it is like it is, and I ain't gonna stay there. I want to create something wonderful. Helps. I'm sure about that. So that's the reason behind the happiness.
I love that. That it's so important. The whole, acknowledging that our lives are a process with different cycles in them, and that our kids leaving home and our careers changing and our bodies changing. You're so right. It's often happening at the same time, which can make it a lot. And it's a both and. It's both overwhelming, the amount of change that's going on in a short period of time. And it's an amazing opportunity, because most of us have a tendency to get stuck in our lives as they are, and not necessarily pay much attention to those longings from inside that are trying to come out. It's I always liken it to, it's like being on a rutted road. My life is like a rutted road. Everything just keeps on going the same way. It takes effort to move out of those ruts and to make a new path. And so there has to be, unfortunately, a certain amount of discomfort, or a certain amount of strength of that longing within, that more that we want to do, be, and experience, to get us, to leverage us to get over those ruts and try something new. So it's really this time to try something new. And being in community, seeing it's possible, is such a support for all of that, which is great.
Yeah, and I think also,
I did want to make one more comment. When we were talking earlier, not on the recording, could you say like 3 sentences about what doing all this has brought up for you? Because you were talking before, you really cared what other people think, and now you don't so much. And it's this kind of personal spiritual growth you've gone through. Could you tell us a couple of the areas that that have really changed in you as you're doing this, what you really love, as you're doing your passion?
yeah, I can, because I think having found after many years and many trial and error, and that in this moment, it feels so good to me what I'm doing, and that makes me less vulnerable to comments from others. And we were talking before that we are from a generation which we are not social. We don't know that much about the whole Facebook, Instagram, and our kids, well, Facebook is not anymore for them that much, but they had a lot of comments, especially in the beginning, from what are you doing? What are you posting? Are you gonna make a video of me? Oh, no, put it away. And it really made me feel insecure. And apart from that, also my so-called failures, as long as I didn't see them as learning points, I beat myself up, and I really felt like I was trying so hard, but that there was something wrong with me, and that was kind of holding me back as well. And now it's a big word, but I'm on a mission. And for me, if I can help just one women see the light, in the sense from, okay, I can change, because you say from, okay, we have this longing and we should find what we want to do. But I think there is even a place before that you can acknowledge that you have longing. It's the place where you are feeling lost and sad and depressed, not even knowing that you still have wishes, and not knowing what you want out of life, because you just don't know. And there are tools to find out one super simple tool is ask others what's your specialty, where are you good in, what they think that is really special about you, and you will so surprised about the answers, because I did it, and I got a lot of answers that for me were normal things, and it was nothing special. I was just like that. But for the others, that was what they really liked about me. And seeing things about yourself in a different light really changes something from, hey, okay, that is special? Maybe I could do something more with that. But it was a huge growth for me to learn that my what I've done in the past, that I can use it as it has brought me where I am now. And I know that wherever you go in the success stories, everybody has been homeless and in big trouble, and I never could relate. And I don't want to make this a story from, oh, I was in such a bad place, because it was more, I wasn't in such a bad place, but the things I wanted to take on just didn't work out. And it made me feel that I was in a bad place. And it's nowadays I can look back and say, well, okay, sometimes it still hurts, but I can say, okay, but I learned this and I learned that. And this is what I can help other people and show them. And what the biggest thing I learned is I was so focused on my goal, on my end goal, and I lost kind of out of sight the journey and the little steps. I never celebrated the little steps. And nowadays, I set up this group and I really celebrated every 50th member which comes in, because it's special. And it's special that you're growing. It's special what I've been doing. This morning I had to explain to someone about a milk provider. And when I was listening to myself, I thought, wowie, you've learned a lot. And I really like it that I got this knowledge. And it was hard work, and it is still hard work. And I'm absolutely, we talked about imperfect action. And I became, instead of the perfectionist I became the imperfect specialist, because otherwise I never come anywhere. And my launch will be also so imperfect, and it's for founding members, and I'm not ready with everything, but I now can see that it can be also the joy of the journey, and say, okay, we're gonna find it out together. And if it flops or fails, well, I'll take it from there. But if I don't try, I don't get there. And it sounds like I have it all very clear. It's not always like that, but it's getting more and more and more. And I think because with everything I've done and my whole journey brought me to this point where the things are falling in place. And I was always so jealous when someone said, oh, I found this and it all fell in place and I became so successful. And well, why doesn't it happen to me? And I'm still kind of from, oh, is it really happening that it's falling in place? Can I believe that? But it seems like it, because it's, and I can say why I know it, because it doesn't cost me any effort. I just wake up really enthusiastic. I say, oh yeah, I'm inspired. I gotta do this. And also doing this interview, I just love it. I love to talk with other people, and I love to share. And it's also, and I think I was reflecting on that, it's not anymore about me. Before it was, I had to show the world that I was significant. I had to show the world that I could make it. And I still want to make it and show that I can create this membership. But it's really about, I love the feedback I get in the group. I love the positivity. I love the fact that if someone says to me, wow, that was a good tip, that makes my day. And that's what I get out of bed for. And it's, maybe it's still called significance, but I don't feel it as a significance for that I need it. It's more the significance that is that what I'm bringing into the world is helpful for other people. And that's what is such a big satisfaction. And it doesn't have to be huge. I think you can help someone who's lonely and go for a walk, or say, oh, let's, do you like this book? Let's talk about the same book. Let's read it together. it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be big. And I want to help other empty nest moms to show them how they can make really their life still worthwhile. Because there are many, I posted what's your biggest challenge? And a lot of women answered from, I have no reason to get out of bed. And that is so sad because,
Yes,
yeah,
that is
we're
very
still
sad.
young. We still have 20, 80, 30, not 80, 30, 40 years ahead of us.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that's not
So,
good.
yeah, that's,
Good. Well, you've given us so much here that I just want to draw out. I want to draw out a couple of things. One is to really savor the journey,
yeah,
to celebrate the small wins, because it's really true that often we're so focused on what I want to accomplish 2 years or 5 years or 6 months from now that we forget to say, hey, look at what I just did. Isn't this great? Sort of that humble brag on a regular basis is so important. And the other thing, and I do want to point out is that when you and I are on our journeys to basically live out our purpose, that the stuff inside of me, the stuff inside of you that is inhibiting it is going to be in our faces. It is, the parts where, I mean, I just ran into one about, the desire for external validation, and realized how it's coming up, but it's a stumbling block to getting to the point where that you spoke of so eloquently. That is, you're at the right point because it comes easy, it's fun, it's inspiring, you're enthusiastic. It doesn't, I mean, there may be chores to do, that, okay, I need to network on social media for blah, 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 so that may be work, but it doesn't necessarily feel so much like work.
no,
And I really think that there in some ways, going to your life, finding your purpose, exploring your purpose and bringing it out is going to be one of the biggest impetuses for personal and spiritual growth there is, which is why it's so helpful to have people around, communities, accountability, coaches, because otherwise we don't want to get stuck in the blind cul-de-sacs of discouragement, of I don't know what to do, of feeling bad about ourselves. We don't want to stay in those. It's going to come up, but we want to work with them and move on, not just stay stuck.
that's the strength of the community. It comes up, but then there's always someone out there who says, "Oh, I went through it. I did this and this and this, and it helped me." Or don't give up. We are here to help you. And I'm part of a couple of accountability groups, and without them, I shouldn't have been here. That's for sure. Because I in my moments is the first 100 members, nobody ever reacted, and then you're posting and it's just crickets. And my lives I'm doing, I have no idea, because Facebook doesn't show anymore how many views you have, so maybe I'm talking just to the wall. And knowing from other people that they have the same experience, say, okay, so it's not me, it's just how the system works, so I just keep going. And it is, I am a firm believer of community. And yeah, and I love that I found a way how to set up the right community and give the right amount of information and be able to help people on every stage on their path they are. And I'm so much looking forward to it. Just can't wait to get started.
Thank you so much for sharing. And it's been so lovely to have you here with us. And when I post this, I will have your group information on there, so you'll send that to me. That'll be wonderful. And before we close, any last word of wisdom for us to take with for today?
Oh, wow. Sounds great. The words of wisdom. I would say just give it a try and just do your first step. And the first step could be become a member of your group, of another group, my group, whatever. Reach out if you need help. Just send a DM. We are, you, I, others are there to help you. It's not just only for us or to show ourselves. It's from, I really love it if someone reaches out and say from, hey, Leontien, how can you help me? Or do you have some advice? Don't hesitate and don't doubt yourself, because you are not alone, you are not stupid, you are not behind, and you are not the only one who doesn't know where to start. And and we have been there, and I really can say now, but we are talking about 7 years later, and not to discourage you, it won't take you 7 years, but I didn't know where to go. I didn't know. I followed the wrong people. I invested in, I wasn't ready for some courses. So
Mhm.
I wasted also a lot of money. And I was super thinking from, oh, I can do it better. So not listening to others. But it didn't bring me anywhere. And now that I'm part of this accountability groups and communities, and I've learned to embrace the online space, a whole new world opened up to me. And my word of wisdom is accept help. I've done for the first couple of years, I've done it all by myself, and hasn't brought me anywhere. And since I opened myself up to help, and it was the accountability group, it was becoming part of a community, I found my way. So that's my word of wisdom. Don't stay there all by yourself and try to figure it out, because there is help out there. And for whatever needs you have, you can find something. And if you need some help to find your way, I can also put you in contact. You have the interviews here, I have the interviews on my group, and I do it with a lot of different women with different backgrounds, different input, because I think there is something for anyone. You say that for everybody, because
Yes.
not everybody resonates with me, with you, but if we put the other women out there, and for the people who are listening now to listen to and to find out from, hey, she's doing story prompts, I love it, I can follow her, that's great. Because I don't know what you're looking for, and you maybe don't know, but don't stay. My word of wisdom is um, get out there and ask for help or search for help. That's where I want to end up with.
That is beautiful. And I think that's so true because we really sometimes get caught in the mind trap that we're supposed to do it ourselves. Or, I had that for a while where it didn't even occur to me to go to someone and get some help or support in what the whole why am I unhappy in a fulfilling work thing. But thank you so much for being with us today. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you, and we will have your information on the load the video when it's loaded. Thank you
I
again.
I loved it, and thank you for having me. I think you're an amazing person, also in the interviews, even if it was the first time you're doing it, because you're picking out the right things and bring them back and the attention. And, and yeah, I could go on for hours. I just love these type of conversations. And thank you so much for having me. And I hope that it's not the last time that we speak together and go out there in the world, and let's see if other people like it as well.
Exactly. Sounds perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.